it is too is like perspective. So like, especially like this year, like with everything going on, I kind of educated myself a lot about like my own history.
Mhm.
I felt like I knew a lot already, but there was also like a lot of things that I didn't know. So like I used to kind of was on the line on the fence that people already kind of knew who was gonna be voted and stuff like that, or who's gonna be president and things like that. But actually, like I said, like um, digging into like the history of like black voters and stuff like that, and how they didn't want blacks to vote and shit.
Mhm.
It like that in itself shows that they wanted certain people to vote and they didn't want certain people to vote because they knew if certain people voted, then the person that they would want wouldn't get they wouldn't win. Um, and I think like you know how they say like the 1% runs the world or whatever. Um, it reminds me of kind of like it almost reminds me of like a jail. So
Mm.
you got 1,000 inmates, right? And you got 20 COs. Why can't the 1,000 inmates take over that jail? It's not that they can't, because they could. You know what I mean? It's like it's a mind fuck. And
It's the
when
white man behind the bench that's gonna screw their whole life over if they do take over.
right, but but the thing is, when the masses, like when people don't go and vote or don't go and do things, like for me, I posted something a while ago talking about just like if you're, you know, if we have the same ancestry and you didn't go and vote, you just shitted all over everything that those people went through.
Mm.
You know, like my ancestors had to count jelly beans and shit to go and vote. They would go there and they'd have to be able to know how to count fucking jelly beans. They'd get tested before they could vote. You know what I mean? So like things like that, like stuff like shit like that is more of a reason for me to go and vote, because to me it's like I'd be like, yeah, fuck everything you guys went through. You know what I mean? Just to go and have their voice heard, whether it happened or not is besides the point. But they sure as hell made sure that they held our voices or kept our voices silent for a reason. And it's not because the shit was rigged. It's because they wanted it to be rigged.
Mm-hmm.
And now that, you know, we are afforded that opportunity to vote, if people don't do it, then like I said, like you're kind of shitting on the ancestry. But that's just for me. You know what I mean? Me and Jay's ancestry is different, so his outlook on it or his opinion on it would be different.
Because he got to vote.
You're right. Like
Be
I
different.
have to.
It might be the same
Like,
viewers though.
there's no way that I'm not gonna go and vote.
Right. Because at the end of the day, what can you really say if you didn't go vote?
Right.
It doesn't matter who's your president. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't contribute to that. A lot of people use the Electoral College as an excuse not to vote. I think that's pathetic.
They got to get rid of that. They got to
Yeah,
get
that-
rid of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's just for the birds. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's
Go
true.
by
It gives too much.
population.
But this is where I think politics is to me the illest gangster move in mafia. Right? I've said this
Electoral
before on the
college.
podcast. Is because at the end of the day, like let's look at Texas. I think right now they're at 38 electoral the votes. Excuse
And
me.
they're gonna be at 41 at the
41.
Yeah.
It's a red state.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's 3
So
extra votes
you're
for
kind of just already creating handicaps. Like it's
Mhm.
like it engulfs. Like that's insane.
Right.
Let's just do popular vote.
It should always just be popular vote.
But if you look at
it should always just be
it
popular
in
vote.
that sense, if you look at California, how many California votes?
I think
Electoral
it's 50,
votes?
54.
Yeah.
Right. That's a left state. So you'll
Right.
always have 54 right off rip. Boom.
Right.
But I don't agree with that process at all.
I don't like
It should be
either.
population.
It should be
Yeah, right.
Like
Yeah.
come on.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, like you do get people that are discouraged. Listen, there was years that I didn't vote, and I was like, why? It's the Electoral College is who depicts who's the president.
Right.
He could easily get almost every voter's, vote. But if the
Mhm.
electoral college picks the other person, then what did that matter? So I always
Mhm.
say that. It'd be like, what does it matter? Like my vote doesn't
Right.
count.
Right.
And then I just like was getting smarter about it, and I was like, all right, well, it's change. If I don't vote, what can I say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you're
now
on the
I vote.
sidelines. You're on the
And
sidelines just talking shit.
And people laugh because I voted for Joe this year, but at the not Joe Biden, Joe.
Right.
But at the end of the day, to me, how fair is that? That like those people probably have good beliefs that we all value, but they'll never get picked because they're so behind in funding, in getting money from people to have a platform out in the open, like the left and right wing. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it's a left and right wing country, and when will that third party ever get noticed? They might have all the stuff that we believe in.
How many independent presidents have we had? Like one
it?
or two, right? Or something?
What is it?
Independents. Green
Independent.
Party, whatever the fuck you want to
Maybe
call it.
one.
I think one, right?
Maybe one. Maybe, and that wasn't recently.
No, it wasn't. No,
it wasn't recently. You know what I'm saying? It was probably when the government. It was probably when the government was less corrupt and less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were actually for the people. If you think about it, if you can sit here and like, I'll wait. Honest to God, I have the whole day off. If you can tell me that Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, any of those people that are running right and left wing are actually for the people, I'll sit here and wait. I'll wait for you guys to get me the fact checks.
I'm going to say no, but I'll say that out of the three, you can definitely say that each person has different levels of interactions with, say, people like us. I think Donald, zero. I think if you're not a certain level of money or business, he ain't ever going to talk to me and you.
A certain
you know
class,
what I'm saying?
Certain class of people.
Biden, did he probably have family members that own slaves? Probably. Did he believe like maybe at one point in time that blacks and whites, were not really equal? Probably. But I think as he grew older with experience and so on, that he was like, I'm not saying that he's going to be like the person that's going to champion, for minorities, but I think he sees the power of minorities and saying, because we brought him in. To me, we got him the election.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a chip. It's like a bargaining chip.